Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and in this video we're going to talk about the government doing one thing that it loves to do, and that is to spend money that it doesn't have. But I guess we can overlook that when, we really got to consider that it's time to give our kids a clean ride to school. So let's have that trump their financial future, I guess, because this is the government running things, and this is not a free market driven agenda. This is mandates, government funding, not even, as we discuss here often, you can't even say your tax dollars, because it is money that is debt that the government doesn't have, which is detrimental to these kids' future. But, they believe that the transition to school buses is necessary, of course, and we must start with those most impacted because, students deserve a clean, healthy ride to school. Yeah, you know what? Everybody does, okay? But this is, a lot of this here is, of course, justice driven. It says, but right now, most of the buses are running on polluting diesel fuel, and kids from underserved communities are bearing a disproportionate burden of the related emissions. So they're going to be getting more than their fair share, it seems, of the funding for this, because that's another agenda, equity. Why don't we just do things fairly and not talk about it? But you have to have an agenda. It's division lines, but that's just another thing the government loves doing. But right now, there's this big push on for electric vehicles, and, well, they'll even tell you, here's why. Right here. Here's why. Some communities have faced inequitable conditions for generation, but the transition to electric school buses can play a role in addressing this. So that must be the most important reason why we have to have this environmental transition. Okay, right there. It tells you they're just promoting more agendas. But how much is this going to cost? Well, there's $500 million in funding. This is from the Joint Office of Energy and Transportation, which must be from energy.gov and transportation.gov, because all of this is all just agenda driven. And so in 2023, the rebate program offered at least $500 million in rebate funding, with the potential to modify this figure based on the application pool and other factors. So modify probably means increase, because debt means nothing to the people running the show here. But that $500 million was just for 2023, because the funding for the program, which is available under the bipartisan infrastructure law, provides $5 billion to subsidize the replacement of existing school buses with clean or zero emission buses that will improve air quality on board the vehicles in bus loading areas and throughout the communities in which they operate. Okay, and right here, one of the key wordings, zero emission buses, implying nowhere in the process. There's some other places in some of these government sites that say zero at the tailpipe, zero emissions at the tailpipe. But you know what? That still can imply, because, okay, so zero emissions at the tailpipe, meaning after all the processes are done, and now to, make the bus run, now the tailpipe is clean. No, even that is a little misleading. But This right here, zero emission buses is completely misleading. These are powered by the grid. We've been over that here before. There is no clean electric grid. We don't have the electric grid to support these clean buses they're going to bring on board, but you can be sure that schools and towns and governments, are going to be tapping into this $5 billion because they're getting $5 billion from who? Oh, that's right. United States taxpayer debt. That this is bad all around. But it's for the kids, and Gabe Klein, who is the executive director of the Joint Office of Energy and Transportation, the Joint Office, said that school buses are the nation's largest source of public transportation, and young people will be able to breathe easier as a direct result of this $500 million in funding, which is actually $5 billion. But of course, with the potential to modify this figure, which I don't think they're going to take it away. They allocated it. You've got to spend it. So we have this big push now because this is, yes, the occupation's agenda, the occupation, who, as we've discussed here many times before, will not allow real solutions since Mr. B.O.'s first presidential campaign, okay, which was a long time ago. But here's the EPA, they're pushing this, and, they talk about you have the deadline to apply right now by January 31st. And yes, please get a school rebate. We're going to help you, convert. And this is, of course, going to be beneficial, financially beneficial to, school districts that are tapped for resources. But, they're pushing the agenda right here. Yes. Why? The ESP initiative defines equity as the guarantee of fair treatment, access, opportunity, and advancement, while at the same time striving to identify and eliminate barriers that have provided the full participation of some groups. What? I'm pretty sure everybody takes a school bus to school, okay? So, but they're just pushing this equity. Equity. You got to push more than one agenda at a time, I guess, when the propaganda is putting this out. But even Thomas School Bus here, now Thomas Built Buses, they have a page here. I found in doing a search, it came up, and it talks about their electric school buses pages and funding. And so it's pretty, cut and dry. The page doesn't really say a whole lot. Just enter information and then your zip code, and then, give them this information and they'll get back to you. But I was very surprised because I went to their website thinking that it would just be front and center. They too would be pushing this, but they're not. They're just really, I actually, in going through their website for a while, could not even find a link to this page. I found a link to that page by doing a search. Right here. This one, the electric school bus grants. It's here. And I found this page here. But in going through their site, I truly still have not found a link to this page here. So, who's promoting this? Oh, that's right. The government. And they're just spending money that the United States doesn't have, and they are absolutely being detrimental to these kids' future, financially, environmentally. These buses, okay. The school, the schools are going to love it when they have to replace a battery. Okay. Well, actually, I got to tell you here, the Thomas Bus program, they they work with people about recycling their batteries. Right here, the Proterra's battery design allows for easy separation of the components. This enables 100% of the aluminum in the electric bus battery to be recycled. Instead of sending batteries to a hazardous waste incinerator, Proterra works with top-tier recycling companies that specialize in extracting and repurposing battery materials this way, and they are able to recover 99% of the precious materials used in the batteries. So, I mean, that's good, but still, when these schools get hit with the price of new batteries as opposed to their old diesel, and these articles, yeah, they talk about, the kids are better because at the school stops, they're not breathing in these diesel fumes, the school bus stops, and the communities aren't breathing in the diesel fumes. Well, that's really all they talk about is the benefit here. But this is not fair market driven. This is not environmental. This is not good for the kids' future. Environmentally, it doesn't do much. Well, what's going to happen when these school buses start going on fire? People are going to love it then. Okay. And, towns that put electric buses in and then they find that they don't work, especially in winters, and, they have to resort back to their diesels as a backup, bring their diesels out 50% of the time. This is just rainbows and unicorns, and it's money that the government doesn't have to spend to push an agenda, to act like they're the good guy. When if we actually had just implemented solutions that would achieve, we wouldn't even be talking about the environment anymore. So just more currency collapsing debt, people. Stay tuned.